and those Americans lose those jobs, that makes you feel better about your gripe with Elon?
That's the thing. Some people, they just want to win an argument, it feels like, you know.
And they don't realize there's people that rely on those fucking jobs.
Then talk about unions. Talk about letting his workers unionize. Talk about the racism that occurs at the factory. They took time to praise Elon Musk. So that's also a thing that's happening now.
So,
For real.
So this is like a kind of shitty situation where, like, yeah, I understand that he's antagonizing people. He's like rubbing people the wrong way. You don't like the guy. You don't like the beliefs. You don't like what he's doing. And there are things to criticize. I'm not saying there aren't things to criticize. Like nobody's above criticism.
Both sides.
But to punish that car company that is 100% made in America, made by people living in America, Americans rely on those jobs. Like, maybe we criticize another thing.
Right.
Yeah, why go after the Hitler guy doing Nazi salutes and trying to dismantle the U.S. government, get rid of Social Security, and cut off, millions of people receiving AIDS medication internationally, including food, pre-digested food. Pre-digested, because the people who are getting it are starving, and if they actually eat real food, they'll die. So they have to have pre-digested food. So that is just going to waste in warehouses. Literally, millions of people could die from this entire DOGE massacre that they're doing right now. But sit there, if you are to criticize him, or a couple people are apparently taking it upon themselves to attack Tesla, they're doing graffiti, drawing a phallic symbol on these cars, and other people are actually building Molotov cocktails and trying to burn the factories down. I don't know what is going on, but those are American made, I'll have you know. Those are American cars made by hard workers. Do you hate hard workers? That's what I'm talking about. Fuck off. Genuinely. Then talk about unions. Talk about letting his workers unionize. Talk about the racism that occurs at the factories. So there's actually been lawsuits because the black employees of Tesla factories experience so much fucking racism, including seeing like the N-word written on walls, being segregated into black only manufacturing sections of the factories, being called I forget the racist term they were using, but they were referencing them like slaves, shit like that. Talking about how there is a terrible and deplorable amount of worker rights and violations during COVID. They were forcing them to work in inhumane conditions. Many of them worried about whether or not they'd get sick, but they just had to keep on going back to the factories to meet quotas because they don't give a fuck about their workers. He's constantly shutting down and destroying any attempt those workers have to unionize. Talk about that. Don't talk about because people are being mean to fucking Hitler man, Space Karen, that suddenly it's like, well, I actually care a lot about the fact that these are, American-made cars. And that's sad. That's sad that you'd go after American-made cars like this.
What is your goal? That we shut down those factories and those Americans lose those jobs? That makes you feel better about your gripe with Elon?
That's the thing. Some people, they just want to win an argument, it feels like,
And they don't realize there's people that rely on those fucking jobs.
Oh, for
And the shitty thing about this is that, by the way, being the village idiot and disagreeing with whatever anyone who sits across from you says does not make you, innocent within all this. So for Theo Von and anyone else who's like a Theo Von who sits there and then sitting across from any bigot like Candace Owens who's talking to him about how Jews control the world, and he's like, wow, I never thought of it that way. Wow. You're spreading that to millions of people. All right. It doesn't matter whether or not you know what you're doing is bad. It has the exact same effect. So no, you don't get to sit there like the innocent little yeehaw. And for Andrew Schulz, the dude who's been fucking bragging about how he's going to rape Kendrick Lamar just because of a call out in a song that didn't even fucking reference him directly. He got so fucking hurt by that. Like, oh my God, that's Snowflake. The multi-millionaire who has Netflix shows, who's got an enormous famous podcast, who gets to fucking hang out with Charlemagne the God and every other massive ass, media figure all the time, to sit there and be like, I can't believe I received mild criticism in the form of a pushback that may or may not be about me. I'm going to war. I'm going to rape that man. I'm going to rape Kendrick Lamar. He's so rapeable because he's small. I could do that. And you're just like, Jesus Christ. Instead of I don't know, listening. Well, what is that lyric about? What was that moment about? What are you getting called out for? Or if that is in fact about you, are you going to learn from it? Maybe you're not above criticism. Maybe the very idea of you being consistently racist towards black women on your show, maybe more people should speak up about that. Maybe more people should speak up in the moment when people are just disparaging black women and you're just thinking it's a hilarious thing to make fun of them, and people are just sitting there being like, wow, this fucking sucks, but you can't fuck with Andrew Schulz. You don't want to fuck with the bags. If you fuck with Andrew Schulz, I mean, that guy at the end of the day, He can destroy you. He can come after you. That guy, you just got to laugh and pretend what he says is funny, because that's the same thing with all of these assholes. They've all gotten to a point where they've got these massive shows, huge ass podcasts, and they just sit there like the arbiters of what is or what is not funny and what people can or cannot say. It fucking sucks. And they don't give two fucks about jobs. That's the other fucked up thing.
Like, we know better, and just you must be stupid if you don't agree with us. And it's like, all right, well, I'm stupid. I'm dumb.
Yeah.
I'm dumb then. So why doesn't somebody meet me where I'm stupid and start at least making me feel like I'm not an asshole for the way that I, you know, for my, I guess you could say, political leanings now.
That's so wild, just like right after that last clip too, of him sitting there being like, a lot of people, honestly, they're really mad. And you can be mad, by the way. I'm not saying you can't have opinions about Elon Musk and disagree with some of the stuff he says, but to go after Tesla, an American-made like industry, you know, a titan, and fucking, that's going to hurt workers. That's all I'm saying, all right? I mean, going after Tesla might not be the best thing to do. I'm just going to condescend and talk down to you, all right, you ants.
Yeah, I feel like they need to meet. And it's a very simple thing. Make it a class issue, and I think they win. And say what you want about America, but I think it's better if we have two people running for president that we're stoked about, and it's a really hard decision.
Oh, yeah. That would be wonderful. Yeah, that's not.
They come up with that. That's crazy. That's not, holy shit, that's a good idea. I didn't think about that, you know? I mean, I'm not even American, but that would sound awesome, you know, just watching from afar, being like, damn, it would be really cool if there was actually like two good candidates instead of two shitty candidates. Because normally it looks like there's two shitty candidates. Have they thought of that? Has anyone told the DNC that, or told the RNC, just like brought that up? Been like, maybe you should run like a non-shit candidate for a change? Someone who wasn't raped?
Oh, we had one group of people that legitimately wanted to change things, and then we're going to see what happens if they do. But you're seeing weird stuff today that you never see before, which is like a real adjustment to the age of the internet. One of the things you're seeing is, I don't know if you saw the 22 different Congress people who were all saying the exact same line with the word shit in it.
What was the line?
So it's like, it's this speech. They're reading it verbatim. They're all reading it and doing it to a microphone as if it's a rant. But they're all doing from the same script, and the shit ain't right.
So this is
the shit ain't right is the beginning of it. When in the history of the United States
has a politician,
said shit, and not just one, but 22 of them in tape record. Can you pull it up just so we can see it? Because it's so nuts.
This is think
when
tank
you see them all
politics.
together. It's just like they have it on screens as tiles, and they're all saying the same words. They all have their own little flair they put on it.
Yeah.
Look at this. Put your headphones on. This is fucking bananas. It's okay.
Can you make it bigger, Jamie?
You won't be able. You can't really tell. It's like, but when they have.
I can't understand any. A, I can't see, and B, it just sounds like blah, 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 blah. Can you believe that, bro? Yeah. Sorry, what? And I'm not even denying that this could be true, by the way. There seems to be very consistent messaging on the part of all these corporate Democrats that fucking, it's pretty ridiculous when all of a sudden it's every single person in tandem is spreading the message that, like, hey, by the way, it seems like the general population of the US, and I'd say the world, is terrified and frightened by what is happening with the encroachment of fascism, but we have the answer. And that answer is fundraising, angry emails, stern words, an angry video, maybe a fun one too, character select screen, kind of, you know, Smash Brothers style. That we'll make those. Like, yeah, it's all cringe and terrible. No one on this side is going to be defending the clowns.
Like, and what is that? Like, what do we at our baseline want? Right? We like abundance. Tell me how great America is going to be in your version of it.
You want a Bill Clinton?
Talk that shit. Like, come out talking shit. Bernie was talking shit, and I want you to come out, and if Trump can say we're going to take Greenland, there can be some Dem that goes $1 eggs and straight up says we're going to subsidize it.
How would you do that?
Subsidize it. Subsidize corn, you subsidize dairy, you subsidize everything. Like, why can we not subsidize it? But say something that's actually going to impact people. Now, Trump's not going to take Greenland, so maybe you don't get the $1 eggs, but you get this messaging across that you're actually trying to help people, and you're going to have to deal with those lobbies that are bankrolling you. And
You know what's so funny too is if this literally happened, if there was like a politician that came along that had a populist message, I don't know, say like a Sanders B, Bernie S, someone like that, who's coming along explaining very clearly, hey, by the way, that we are in a class war. There's a war between the 1% who have everything and the 99%, you, the working class. Someone who had a message that resonated. I wonder whether or not these people would actually, I don't know, align with it, support him, promote it. Or if you had someone who came along and did that exact example that Andrew's talking about. So say Trump is like, I'm going to take over Greenland. And then all of a sudden that's met with, okay, $1 eggs. would they not be just like fucking ripping into that person right now? Have you seen the soy cuck beta who was trying to meet like the dude talking about taking over Greenland and how glorious that'll be for our empire? And he's talking about fucking eggs. I don't give a fuck, bro. Yeah, I know. Fucking eggs. He meant the eggs inside of his womb because he's got ovaries. I know, bro. I know. What a fucking pussy woman gay thing. Yeah, I hate that shit. No, let's take over Greenland, bro.
I might piss them the fuck off, but that's the disruption we need for us to trust you.
You know what they really should do?
What's that?
They really should have a strategic plan. If we're spending, $350 billion went to Ukraine. What was the number? What are they saying it was? I don't know what the number is. Some insane. Let's just be conservative and say 200 billion. Imagine if we spent $200 billion in the United States in all of the crime-ridden cities of the country, just completely overhauling them.
All right. So here's my concern.
You do. What do you think half the budget of New York and LA goes towards? Over half the budget of most major cities in the United States goes towards the police force. The problem is that it doesn't seem to be solving the crime, right? It's like, hey, we keep doing this thing where we give the cops infinite resources, we militarize them, we give them all the monies, they get all the city budget, but it doesn't solve the problem. So that's probably because we didn't give them enough, and we need to militarize them more and give them more power, maybe executive power, and make them, absolve from any crimes they commit themselves. And then they need more weapons and guns and ammo and tanks and bombs and nukes, and then the problem will finally solve itself. But what if we spent that on, solving the crime, right?
About that is how much did they spend in California on homelessness?
$24 billion.
And then nothing changed, right?
No, they got worse.
Oh,
they did a good job.
Awesome.
They did a good
so
job.
maybe we could spend $36 billion. So there's also this idea that the current administration in these places, even with an abundance of money, is not going to make change. So you need somebody from inside, from the left, to go, hey, these people are corrupt on my team. We're going to root out that corruption, but we are going to take care of homelessness. We are going to make eggs cheaper. We are going to build fucking 10,000 affordable housing units so that the price of your rent can go way down. There has.
Okay, so I'm not from California, so I got to read up on this. I'm not totally aware, but apparently an audit was done. How effective are California's homeless programs? Audit finds the state has not been keeping track. California spent $24 billion to tackle homelessness over the past 5 years, but didn't consistently track whether the huge outlay of public money actually improved the situation, according to state audits released Tuesday. With makeshift tents lining the streets and disrupting businesses in cities and towns throughout California, homelessness has become one of the most frustrating and seemingly intractable issues the country's most populous state faces. An estimated 171,000 people are homeless in California, which amounts to roughly 30% of all the homeless people in the United States in one state alone. Despite the roughly billions of dollars spent on more than 30 homeless and housing programs during the 2018-2023 fiscal year, California doesn't have reliable data needed to fully understand why the problem didn't improve in many cities, according to the state's auditor report. This report concludes that the state must do more to assess the cost effectiveness of its homelessness programs. The audit analyzed 5 programs that received a combined $13.7 billion in funding. It determined that only 2 of them are likely cost effective, including one that converts hotel and motel rooms into housing and other things that provide housing assistance to prevent families from becoming homeless. Under the $3.6 billion program that converts hotel and motel rooms, which is the linchpin in Newsom's homelessness plan, the average cost of a room is 2.5 times cheaper than building a new home. The audit found the housing assistance program, which has received $760 million over the past 5 years, given an average of $12,000 to $22,000 depending on which county, to help low-income families stay in their home. That's a fraction of the roughly $50,000 the state spends on a person wants to become homeless. All right, guess what I'm going to do here? I'm going to say that fucking sucks. I'm going to agree. I'm going to say if you're spending $1 billion on programs where a lot of it doesn't seem to be accountable for and it's not improving a program or a problem, I should say, then that's fucked up. You should look towards programs that do solve this. And actually, if you've done audits and you've realized what is effective and what isn't effective, then you should continue the programs that are effective, converting motels and hotels into temporary to permanent housing for people. But none of this is the actual programs that we know through the data internationally that other countries have done that actually solve this problem. Housing First Solutions. It seems what's happened here is that billions of dollars have been mismanaged into a number of NGOs that seem to be misappropriating the funds into programs that are not solving the crisis. Small subsidies, small payments, small amounts of money to working families is better than them being homeless, I'll grant you, but it's not solving the problem. You need housing for solutions. You need social housing. You need to emulate the models of countries that have done this successfully. There are countries, say like Finland, for example, that have dramatically reduced or eliminated their homeless problem as a result of housing first solutions. There are counties and districts in countries like Canada that do also have a massive homeless problem that have solved this with housing first solutions. These aren't housing first solutions. And so, yeah, call it out by all means. That doesn't mean the solution to this is more money for cops. That doesn't mean the solution to this is more money for fucking police officers, less money to try and solve this program. And honestly, fuck all the people from the top on down who mismanage billions of dollars to try and solve a crisis that effectively is going to be giving the right the opportunity to be like, the solution to this is to go after homeless people, or the solution to this is to go after programs to try to help homeless people. Well, that fucking sucks. Great job, you know? Now you've given Joe Rogan the opportunity to be like, honestly, bro, this is why homeless people are the problem, not the programs, all right? We need to spend money on eliminating them. We need to eliminate the homeless and purge them from the earth. I feel like this was a massive fucking, you know, if I was to put on my Alex Jones tinfoil hat for a second here, this whole thing feels like a great gift. Whether or not it was intentional, but you've just given a great gift to the right and to people who just want to vilify poor and homeless folk to the tune of billions of dollars by being shit. By being shit what you did. Because now you get a talking point. If you're Joe Rogan and Andrew Schulz, you can point towards, yeah, California did spend approximately $24 billion on a problem that they did not ameliorate. Did they spend $24 billion on building housing first? No. Did they do it on building social housing? No. They did it on a variety of programs, some of which dramatically mismanaged the money, some of which apparently are unaccounted for, some of which did help a little bit, but the only ones they can really point towards are converting old hotels and motels, and outside of that, a lot of the other ones, we're not sure if they're cost effective, where the money went, what those NGOs did, so, oops.
Yes.
Where poor people can get nutritious food.
Yes.
Just sign on, have a driver's license, whatever the fuck you need to get your food.
And what are the downstream effects of that? Like, you have way less health issues, which takes down the cost of health care.
Well, also, people aren't desperate because you can actually always eat. This is a problem that Democrats have right now.
What's that?
Is that the Trump administration, what they're uncovering with DOGE, like all this waste and fraud and abuse, whatever you want to categorize it as, and I'm sure there's a bunch of things that fall into different categories.
Yeah.
But the Democrats aren't acknowledging that it's a problem at all. They're not saying when you find this building in San Antonio that they spent $2 billion on, it's completely empty, and it's getting, you know, $1 million a month or whatever the fuck it's getting, and where's that money going?
Yeah, the tricky thing about this, the DOGE thing is like I don't think there's any American out there that is supportive of waste, fraud, and corruption. It should be a bipartisan issue, right?
Right.
Like, it's a very easy thing to get on board with.
Right.
And this is where I feel like Elon's being a little antagonistic. I have a lot of respect for Elon, don't get me wrong, but like, it's becoming easier to be a bipartisan issue in the way that it's communicated. Whereas like having that like political decorum, like having that ability to pull everybody into this thing might be a little bit more effective on an issue that we can all get behind. There's no American that wants waste, fraud, and corruption. I hate that this is becoming bipartisan. It drives me fucking crazy because on the surface, nobody wants the waste.
How is it bipartisan though? I have a proposal. What if, because we're never going to change Joe Rogan's mind, and Andrew Schulz loves billionaires and money, clearly. What if all of these circles, you know, bro circles I'm talking about, sports podcasts, comedy podcasts, even podcasts about pop culture, that kind of shit, all these shows, what if they had an infiltrator in the form of, you know, a guy's guy? He doesn't have to get in there and be like, I'm a communist. But what if he just gets to sit at the table right now, all right? He gets to sit beside him and Andrew, and he has to say whatever he has to say to be in their good graces, all right? So he sits down, and then he's like, hey, boys, what's up? And like, oh, hey, it's the guy's guy. And he can be like, yeah, I know. My bitch wife, right? And then you're like, yeah, true. My bitch, that's funny. That's funny, because he's talking about how his wife's a bitch. Yeah, totally. Hey, I heard you were talking about DOGE. You know what's funny about that, right? If you want to shit on Democrats and you want to shit on wasteful government spending, all that kind of stuff, have you heard about the military budget of the United States, bro? It's crazy. So apparently every year, we spend almost like $1 trillion, not millions, not billions, like almost $1 trillion on the military budget. And then they did this thing called an audit on the Pentagon and how it spends the money, and it failed the audit 7 years in a row, bro. And I go, whoa, what? I know. Wait, is this lefty shit? No, sorry. My bitch wife. She's a bitch. Oh yeah, it's funny. This guy, where does he get this shit? That's amazing. Yeah, my wife's a bitch too. Cool. Yeah, totally. Anyway, so 7 years in a row, they failed this audit to the tune, apparently, of trillions of dollars. That's trillions of dollars of our fucking money, right? our tax dollars going towards we don't know. It just they burn it. It's like they're taking our cash out of our pockets every fucking year in the form of taxes, and they burn that shit. And really, honestly, man, isn't that fucked? That is fucked. Yo, that's fucked, bro. I know, it's fucked. It's totally fucked. So fucked. It's crazy too, because like I sometimes feel like we get really mad at people who have nothing. They have nothing. They have no voice. Like if you're poor and you're having like trouble making ends meet and you're worried about feeding your family, and then you try to apply for things like food stamps or something like that, you're in a bad way. Like you just got a hard life. That sounds bad, right? Why do I hate that person? Why am I mad at that person when they're just trying to feed their kids is the thing. Holy shit. Wait, is this communism? Bro, are you communism, bro? My bitch wife. Oh, okay. Yeah, bitch wife. Right. And so why are we mad at them? Why are we so mad at those people when there's trillions of dollars unaccounted for that is being used to kill kids in other countries? Like honestly, I can't have health care. I can't have roads. I can't have school for my kids. I can't have all the shit they have in other countries because we want to kill babies that don't look like us. We just want to kill lots and lots of babies. And we want other people to kill babies. We want to sell people the weapons to kill babies with. And that's why I can't have health care. Isn't that fucked up? Shouldn't we be mad? Shouldn't we want to stop this and get angry at those people? I agree. I too agree. This could, like, I don't know, if we can get that dude in there, if he can just slide on in, I don't know how, but just to someone, like, he could appear on Theo Von's show, he could be on Joe Rogan's show, he could be on Andrew Schultz's show, he could just be everywhere, just every now and then. It's like, oh shit, sorry, we got to bring in the dude. Oh yeah, the dude. He's funny, man. He talks about how his wife's like a bitch and stuff. Yeah, he does. He's really funny. Hey, what's up, boys? You know what I'm gonna say? He's gonna say the thing. But you know what else I got to talk about? And then maybe that's how we're going to cross through this barrier. Because, like, we've tried so many things at this point. We tried mocking them ruthlessly, and then that just hits the echo chamber walls. We've tried highlighting when they actually say the right thing, and then all of a sudden you'll get the other side telling you, oh, yeah, but that person's a massive ass bigot. We shouldn't celebrate anything they do. Okay. Well, then I don't know how do we get the dude into the room so that they can actually sit down. Because, like, even the ones, like, a lot of them, at this point are collaborators willingly. Like Joe Rogan is effectively a collaborator with all of this shit. So he's not sitting there looking to have his mind changed. He doesn't care. You can actually have the dude and it'll have no effect on him. But not everyone's like that. I feel like Theo Von, for example, with the dude inserted into the equation, sitting amongst them, would be able to actually penetrate a lot of the shit where all of a sudden it's like, yeah, so we hate welfare and we hate people who get welfare because fuck them, right? Well, you know who gets a lot of fucking welfare, bro? Way more than like the average person is Elon fucking Musk. Dude, that guy is addicted to it. Like seriously, billions of dollars so he can blow up fucking penises. Like he's got all these penises he wants to explode. I don't know what it means, but he wants to build these massive dicks and then fly them into the space and then they just explode because he's really shitty at what he does. And then he's like, I'm doing this to colonize Mars. I don't think that's what he cares about though, bro. He's obsessed with making dicks explode and all this shit. It's weird. But we pay for that. Like out of our taxes. We pay for this shit. Like it comes out of my pocket, your pocket. I don't know, man. That hurts me more than some dude who wants like a little bit of welfare to help feed his like dying kids, It's true. That's true, bro. I don't think about that. That's fucking crazy. That's fucking crazy, right? Yeah, what's up with that? About wasteful government spending coming in the form of U.S. aid, when really, at the end of the day, U.S. aid is not a new thing, as is the transparency surrounding it. If you wanted to know how the money was spent, you could learn any day for free by going on the website. They because they're a government program, would have to demonstrate where the money was going and which programs it was going to. That was all publicly available information. You didn't need fucking big balls, DOGE, and the West, like all these groiper white supremacists suddenly getting into Social Security and databases to be able to figure that stuff out. Again, it was publicly available information. And you could have gone through that list And you could have been mad about things. You could have been like, you know what? I don't like that, $27 million is being spent on anti-China propaganda. I think that's a massive waste of money. I don't think we should do this. I don't understand why we're spending $27 million every year on spreading anti-Chinese propaganda to these specific countries where we feel that they might be in other conditions commensurate with doing business with China instead of the IMF or the World Fund. So we spend $27 million every year to make sure that we spread this propaganda and make these countries think that China's super bad and evil and going to fuck them over so we can fuck them over. That just seems like a massive waste of money. Imperialism in that form, let's not spend money on that. True. I don't know if I have a problem with all of the AIDS medication, going to Nigeria, because like at the end of the day, that's going to stop people from dying who probably, shouldn't die. Okay, so you're okay with that one. All right, so we found something. We found a thing that we find is a wasteful expenditure that we shouldn't be doing, that basically is just trying to use, our tax dollars for American imperialism, and we're going to get rid of that one. But the whole stopping people dying from AIDS with retrovirals, that one's probably good. Yeah, no, I'm fine with that one. I'm not as much with the whole one that basically is trying to, promote, anti-homosexual acts in Uganda. That stuff is kind of weird. Okay, we can eliminate that one for sure. But the feeding program, where the pre-digested food is both manufactured and then shipped so that people experiencing starvation as a result of a whole bunch of different things don't die, we could probably keep doing that one. Again, it's probably less than a cent of my taxes goes towards that, and so I don't mind if like less than a penny out of my pocket is really going towards making, hundreds of thousands of kids not die from starvation. That's probably, I could probably get on board with that one. Okay, so I mean, we're doing this. Look at this, an active audit, participation coming from the public, a back and forth, transparency, not a bunch of white supremacist gripers trying to hack Social Security to develop an AI system to make them competitive with the other ones. This one sounds pretty good. Not too bad. We have saved a couple $1 million, so congrats. Look at that, DOGE saving money. If you do want to save a lot of money, though, I'm talking, like, again, this is all just pennies in respect to the trillions that go into the military-industrial complex that no one wants to take a look at. If you want to do that, I mean, that would basically, you could save yourself both money and time, lots of it. And you don't have to posture. You don't have to do this entire thing, right, where you're pretending what you're doing is benevolent. Like, what Elon Musk loves to basically have a woman as what I call a fall gal. Okay, he selects a woman to put in place for when things truly become terrible. He can point towards her and say this is actually her fault. And in the case of Doge, it happens to be an account called Data Republican, small r. This is the first time I felt like breaking down, but that means letting them win. Look, I don't know who you are. Unless you're Bill Kristol, I don't know why you hate me so. I gave up a lucrative career to do this. It was never for money. Why am I doing this? I know numbers. I see that my children have no future unless we tame spending. And as soon as we are finding out, taming spending also means taming the corruption in the government. The numbers don't lie. Look at them. Logically. Look at how much of our economy is sustained on deficit government spending. Look at the exponential rise in interest rate payments. We are not far from where we have to borrow off to pay off the interest. And from there, it's only disaster. I survived 20% layoffs. Most of the private sector has. Layoffs are healthy. There is no way, shape, or manner that what DOGE is doing comes anywhere near to cruelty. You are trying to kill my husband when all I want to do was give my children a future. Why? Just why? Please repent and come on Jesus. Sorry, literally. Come to Jesus? Literally? I think mine was better. So this is a woman hired by Elon Musk to effectively, once everyone is calling for Elon Musk's head, be like, oh, I didn't decide to do this. It was Data Republican. So it was her. She did it. It's all her fault. I hired her because she's a data and analytic expert who knows numbers and can see everything for what it was. But again, this is like a profound cruelty, and like I don't believe that it's just raw stupidity. I think she knows what she's talking about, in that like she's trying to lie to the general public and be like, you don't understand how bad things are. The government is about to have to just borrow money to pay off its interest in its debts to other countries because we keep borrowing. We live off debt. We have to reduce the amount we spend. The only way to do that is by taking away all of the AIDS medication from all the people who need it internationally and taking away the food from the starving people. Yeah, millions will die, but this will be so America does not have to pay interest on the money that it continues to borrow. I know you know this. Come on. Honestly, you're talking about fucking pennies. If you're like, yeah, we stopped a drag queen program in Brazil that apparently was getting $456,000. Yeah, we saved you that, the American taxpayer. They were getting this money to promote trans mice. And so you're welcome, America. We stopped it. The deficit is going to be reduced. No, it fucking isn't. Again, these are little blips. If you actually effectively wanted to reduce government spending, you would take a look at, again, the military budget. You're not going to, because that's not what this is about. This is about getting rid of every social safety net, eroding it, and you're doing it with the air of benevolence, which makes it so much more cruel. For you and Elon Musk to look down upon the ants that you see human beings are, the ones who are desperate, the ones who work hard, and then suddenly be like, hey, by the way, we're going to get rid of anything that was going your way to make sure that all of you don't ruin the economy. You don't know how bad it is. I'm trying to save the world, but you're trying to kill my husband. You should literally come inside Jesus. Literally, come in him multiple times a day. It's the only way. That's the problem I have with all of the rights criticism of US aid and trying to pretend that like everyone should be on board, bro. Who the fuck doesn't want to end government spending? What's wrong with you? Those comedians suck. You know some good comedians. Gianmarco Cerezi. He's funny. He's good stuff.
I've met Jewish folks who've claimed us as tribes. I've met Mormons have claimed us. Muslim folks have claimed us.
Claimed as like you're Jews too.
You're Jews. You're Muslims.
Oh,
you're Mormons.
Well, certainly there were a lot of liberals who would like talk about Native American rights in America, and then when Israel and Palestine came up, suddenly it was like the comparison of colonization was like unfathomable, and it's like, and then I feel like that was a huge fracture point.
It's always after the fact, like, oh, South Africa, like, oh yeah, now, like, of course that was bad.
Liberals are against every war except the one happening right now.
Yeah. What's it going to be like 20 years from now? Like, of course. Trump Gaza Tower shouldn't be there.
I hate that he did that. How did that happen?
I'm performing there, but I just need the money.
But they have, they have Palestinian management there, managers, so they're good.
And they do land acknowledgements. That's the good thing about the the Riviera of the Middle East with the Trump Towers, which used to be formerly the Gaza Strip. But every single time when you go into the casino, they're like, and we are on the unceded territory of the Palestinian people, and we would like to acknowledge that. And we're also very happy to let you all know that we've actually hired a couple people of Palestinian origin who work here. At least their older relatives were, and we're very proud of that. So we're doing our part here, of being good libs and acknowledging the horrors and atrocities of colonization and trying to do our part for not so much reconciliation as simply affirming and virtue signaling in perpetuity. That's how we change the world. We're against every war except the wars that are going on right now.
Don't let this happen to you. Go to serfscoffee.com to order the only end-to-end owned indigenous coffee company that delivers blood-free, conflict-free, and cruelty-free beans right to your door. 0% of people who drink serfscoffee.com have exploded spontaneously. By ordering right now, you get 10% off plus free shipping, and it's the best way to enjoy delicious coffee while not exploding. That's serfscoffee.com, serfscoffee.com.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. This video wouldn't be at all possible without the financial support of all the people whose names you see on the screen right now. And if you want to unlock secret bonus episodes, content that we can't post anywhere else, or get the videos early before anyone else gets to see them, please go on to patreon.com/theserfs. For as little as $1, you can help support this channel and help make more videos like this possible. Our executive producers are Anna Loves Riley, Adrian McCarthy, Bobby Lasers, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Garrett Sandoval, Hagbard Celine, Jimmy Sombrero, Multimondi, Omni, Political Papi, Preston Kroll, Quiet 185, Richard Boehm, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demel, Tigwick, Trav, and Words Greenwood. And also, it wouldn't be possible without all the names you see on the screen right now. Again, if you want to help produce this content, it's only made possible through the funding of our patrons. Head on down to patreon.com/theserfs. That's patreon.com/theserfs.